And we're going to spend it, guys, because we spoke about it. But we're going to spend it, and whether it's on Isak, whether it's on Etikite, Mo, we obviously, like Ben, I think Ben alluded to earlier, we have to balance the books somehow. Not for financial reasons, but for squad balance purposes and numbers purposes. And obviously, today we found out that Luis Diaz was on the receiving end of a bid. Can someone get the exact figures up? People in the chat, quickly, just let me know what I think it was
58 million, I think.
58 million, something like that. What did you think, man? What did you think about that? Luis Diaz? I told you guys last time we spoke. I wake up feeling differently every day about Luis Diaz situation.
I think ultimately he's going to get sold. I think Liverpool are playing a long game on this. I don't want him to go. I'd keep him all day long, but if I put the business hat on for a second, and even though we've read reports that Liverpool are willing to let Diaz run down his contract and let him leave free because they want to keep him and he's integral to the team and all that, which is fine. But from a business perspective, you're letting 70 million walk out the door for free in a couple of years' time. And I think there's players out there you can take a gamble on to replace him with. You could even... no, I'm not even going to go down the Wirtz route because that's waste on the left. I was going to say Wirtz and Rio. But no, I think there's players out there that you can probably fill his boots with. But I just think ultimately he's going to go. But for the record, I want him to stay. I don't mind if he stays, but we're led to believe his contract, and his money situation. I think he's going to go, and I think Liverpool are just waiting for that sweet figure of 70 million, maybe. And if they hit 70, that will allow them to go out and possibly get a Rodrigo, maybe, which is the same price, and saving yourself for 4 more years on an age perspective as well. So. There's definitely going to be some movement, I think, with Diaz. I just don't know whether Bayern apparently coming back with a second bid. So if that second bid goes close to 70, then we might see some. We might sit up, like we've let in a goal. When we let in a goal in FIFA and we suddenly sit up and think, okay, we might have to set up. Yeah, we might have to set up and listen to the offer.
Lewis, are you okay with? Have you changed your mind? Are you toing and froing, or is it time? Because obviously, was it Ornstein? Ornstein tweeted that Luis Diaz has indicated to Liverpool that he wants to leave. For me, if that's the case, if that was true, that's a game changer for me. It's made up my mind that Luis Diaz has to go then if he wants to go. I believe that he doesn't want to go as first option. I think as first option, I think he'd like to stay. But we're obviously not willing to budge in terms of giving him the contract close to what he wants. And so therefore, I think as a result of that, Luis Diaz has indicated that he wants to leave. So I'm 50-50, but if genuinely he wants to go, then obviously he must go.
Yeah.
I'd keep Luis Diaz. But if he hasn't, I want to keep Luis Diaz.
Yeah, we're very fortunate that our 2 options on the left wing happen to be 2 of the best left wingers in the Premier League in Europe, in Gakpo and Diaz. But I think that match against Preston showcased that there's a clear... We're trying different things. We saw Chiesa go out onto the left a bit. We saw Rio and Gamoa be utilised as well. Like you say, I go back and forth on Diaz. On one hand, we've got this very fast, technically gifted winger who's capable of cutting inside and can play through the middle. But on the other hand, we've got someone who runs into danger, goes through big purple patches and then massive gaps of nothing. Contributed majorly at the beginning and the end of last season. And I think from a cost perspective for Liverpool, if it's a case of Diaz's preference is to stay, he's going to need a new contract. Now, does it make a lot of financial sense for Liverpool to extend Luis Diaz, who's 28 years old now, soon to be 29, on a 3-year deal, so to speak? Probably not. You're not going to recoup the same amount of money that I think will be offered now. You're going to have to increase his wages. When, like Mo said, we could sell him on for this amount that were being offered by Bayern, and we could bring in a Rodrigo. We could go out and sign, just for example, a Fofana. There's different options that we could bring in who are going to be here for a longer term solution, who are just as capable in certain departments. And I think if it is a case of he wants to go, fine. no one should be at this club if they do not want to be here and do not understand fully what it means to be in this current squad. We said that with Trent. People are saying it about Canate. There's countless times of it in the past. And I think if the money's right and they come in with a slightly increased bid, I will not lose sleep over losing him. I will be disappointed with how it's ended, but I will not be tossing and turning at night saying, oh, we've just lost Luis Diaz, because we can bring in someone else.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'd say this with Diaz. I think he is a very good player, but I don't think he should get the contract extension. I know maybe that's a bit of a... Can someone mute their mic? I'm getting a bit of feedback, sorry. This is my headphones more likely. Cheers, Lewis. But yeah, I'm going to make the statement. I've been going back and forth on this, and I've seen Grizz's reaction when I said it. Because I actually seen a tweet from you, Grizz, which I think made me realise it, which is that that him and Canate both deserve a contract extension. I sit in the camp of you deserve a contract extension if the contract extension you're looking for makes sense. In the sense that if I think I deserve a raise at a job and I go in, I think I need this X amount more. If you agree with that, then you say I deserve it. If I walk in and demand 4 times that, I don't deserve that raise. Do I think Diaz deserves to be on a similar wage to what a star striker would be on, or what Salah was on, not previous contract, but the contract before, of like a 250 range? I personally don't, because if I'm looking at it from the point of view of 29, he's openly said before, as is his dad said before, that he would like a move at some point. So this is a player that wants to leave at some point, and he's even made it known pretty well now that he does want to leave. He's flirted with other clubs while being here. He's had one very good season in this year just gone by. Previous years, whether it's injuries, whether it's other external factors, absolutely. I wouldn't say he's been brilliant. Has he ever nailed down a position? No. I can't give a bumper contract like that to a player that's ticking those boxes. Now, if he had put up Mane numbers, different question. If he'd put up Firmino numbers, or maybe Firmino consistency, not necessarily numbers, it's a different question. But there was a moment last season where he went 9 games without getting a goal or assist, but he was playing the majority of the minutes. So then I take these factors into consideration, and I find it hard to justify giving him the contract. I still love Diaz. I still like him a lot. But I don't think he is as big a factor in our front line as maybe we feel. I do think his numbers and his performances can be replaced.
Ben, final say comes to you then. Do we agree? We've had a few differences of opinions, and I like it. This is what the Red Room's about. Having absolutely, like when Mike said that, I done the whole Jamie Carragher. Do you remember the moment where? Yeah. You know, yeah. I mean, as I said, I do to and fro with. I must admit, I do to and fro with Luis Diaz situation. I just wanted Kvaratskhelia to be his replacement. Once he was done, I wanted to keep him. And then Nico Williams decided to stay. So then I said, okay, running out of options to replace him now. And I know people have linked up with Rafael Leao. Forget Rafael Leao, man. Who was the other one on the market?
Rodrygo.
We're going to touch on Rodrygo. So Ben, where I'm going with this now, segue from what Mo said, Lewis said, Mike said, where are you with the Luis Diaz situation? And then I'm going to ask you guys, okay, if Luis Diaz, you happy to go, who do we bring in?
I think the writing's been on the wall for this for a year, to be honest, because if you remember last summer, you know, there was the whole Anthony Gordon thing, which obviously ended up...
I want to give you some credit first, Ben, before you go on, because you slid into the journalist Pepe Sierra's DMs,
yeah.
Right? And he also claimed that Luis Diaz ideally wants to stay. His first choice is to stay and renew his contract with Liverpool. And I actually believe that as well to be the case. So but what Mike said has kind of made sense as well, if you know what I mean. I'll put a case forward about, well, listen, I love Diaz, but you know, does it make sense financially from our situation, the age and everything? Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, Pipe's my boy. I've got him on WhatsApp and everything. Yeah, we got on, man.
Sorry, man.
Flex that, Brad.
Personal terms of Pipe. He has blanked me for the last 2 weeks. He has blanked me in the last 2 weeks.
He's just playing hard to Ben. He's just playing hard to get. Don't worry about it, man. Send another message.
Being a tease, man.
Yeah. But
maybe zoom up. Maybe zoom in a little.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why we won't blank you then.
I feel like last summer we tried to get Anthony Gordon, and that was it for me. Like, if we got Gordon, he was going to be the next big left wing for us. He was going to be the one to go on for the next few, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, didn't happen. Diaz has been, like Mike said, flirting with Barca and other clubs for God knows how long. I feel like he loves it here, but I don't feel like it's his, end goal to stay here. And you've got to feel for him in some way, to be fair, because when you look at what
100%.
he's earning compared to other players, it does kind of make sense. We love the players that we signed, but new players are coming in and instantly getting double what he's on. So you do kind of understand it from that sense. I'm not saying it's money driven or money oriented, but from that perspective, it kind of makes sense. My only worry is, like you said, Grizz, the options. Who are we signing? Who are we replacing Luis Diaz with? Because I do think Rodrigo is good, but I'm sure he's had his injury problems as well, and inconsistency issues. Could be wrong, but I'm sure that's what I've read. Gordon's had a bad season, but I still think the talent's there, the potential's there, but whether he's worth what Newcastle want is another question. Then you've got youngsters like Malik Fofana, who, if you watched the Lyon Man United game, which I did, everyone was going crazy about Cherky, but for me, Fofana was the standout player in that game. He came on from the bench and tore him a new one. So there's him. There is options, but the way I'm looking at it is, if we sell Diaz this summer, I think it can't be a project player because there's already too much change going on in the team.
There's a whole heap of change, guys. This is madness. This is crazy amounts of change, man, from a title-winning team.
Have an impact, because let's not forget, Mike, I know you said he's had inconsistent seasons and all of that, but that first 6 months before he got injured, when he came in, the impact on the team was. So that's what I'm incensed. That's what I'm trying to say. Luis Diaz was to go. We need a player to come in and do something similar.
Yeah, look, I get both sides of the story and case. Sorry, I get it, and the pros and cons of Diaz. I just think I don't think we want to make that many changes, man. I don't think we can afford to make that many changes, not from a financial point of view, but in terms of, it's just, I don't think it's ever been done, guys. Someone hit me with a team that's been rebuilt after winning a title and went on to win the title. I might be wrong. Didn't one of Fergie's team do that? Did one of the Chelsea teams do it?
The Arsenal 98, they went through a bit of a thing, I'm pretty sure, when they won the league then.
Lewis, you wasn't born.
I wasn't born. I was born then, 97. Thank you very much.
Slot did this with Feyenoord, didn't
mate, I can read.
Yeah, but Mo, before you go down the slot route, come on, Mo, don't be comparing the Dutch.
No, I'm just saying he's done it before, hasn't he? As in, he's ripped out a squad and brought in 7-8 players before, and then he ended up winning that league. I'm not comparing.
It's a total different animal, man. It's a total different animal, man. You're dealing with an improving Chelsea, like we've just seen. Man City are going to come strong again.
Arsenal.
Forget Man United for a little while and love it. And Arsenal, yeah. So this is a different animal. I don't know. Look, personally, I'd be concerned with that many changes. We haven't even touched upon the Konate situation, which is a bit complex as well now. So I'd keep Diaz, but if we get an offer for about 70 million, I think 70 million would be no option. But then who are we looking at? Rodrigo. So obviously everybody wants to talk about Rodrigo. Who wants to fire? Who is a Rodrigo fan, man? Put your hands up if there's anything else that you. Anyway, so go on, Lewis. I got to go with you then, or Mo. I'll go on, Mo. You stick with. You're not convinced.
No, I just think touching on what I think for Liverpool itself, he's like the perfect profile player because he can play left, he can play right. Slot loves that versatility. Okay, but the counter to what Ben said, he's I think you said, his form's been off and on, which is fine. I totally agree. But to add context to that, he hasn't really started much for Real Madrid since Mbappe's been in the squad. So I still think it's a little bit of a gamble because he's not Prem proven, is he? We don't know what he's going to do in the Prem. But it's still someone I would like to take a punt on because I think there's a player there. I think there's versatility there. And I think if he gets a run of games, he will show that he was that player we wanted to sign back, many years ago. So I am a Rodrygo in, but I am still wary of the fact that there's a lot of variables to go with that.
Mo, can I build on that? Because what I would say, if you look at his stats compared to Diaz's, right? For last season, Rodrigo got 6 goals, 5 assists, right? That was a majority coming off the bench. There's a lot of inconsistencies with him coming in and out. Season before, he got 10 goals and 5 assists when he had a little bit more of a run, a little bit more faith. He's only 24. Exactly. At that age, Diaz could not have done that at that level. Yeah, I look at how he plays as well. He's got the same type of energy. He's got the same type of commitment. I think when people think Rodrigo, they really intertwine him with the likes of Mbappe, Bellingham, and Vinicius. Rodrigo's really not the type of player to throw his hands up, complain, whine, and moan. He does put his head down, he gets on with it, and I like that about him. I think he'd cause absolute chaos in the Prem. And to be honest, when Arsenal were linked with him, I was concerned because I was like, that is the winger. You get him in, and then suddenly your attack is a lot more dangerous. And listen, if you can get Rodrigo in, you are talking about a player that can play there then for, again, the next 5-6 years. And then you look at that front line and you go Rodrigo, Isaac, Wirtz, Salah. That is insane. So for me, he's a no-brainer, especially if you can get him for 60 million. My God.
Yeah, agree.
Completely agree. We're talking about someone, you look at Slot and what he's done with Salah in the sense of, you know, when he picks up the ball, he's got space to work with, he's best running with it. Rodrigo is one of the best progressive players in Europe nowadays. Like his stats alone from last season, I know stats can be a bit misleading, but in the top 5 leagues, including the Champions League, the Europa League, the Europa Conference League, he's in the top 21% for key passes, the top 30 for progressive passes. Passes attempted is in 12. He's such a... He can either pick up the ball and run with it, or he can pick it up and progressively pass it to someone. He's capable of having a shot at goal. And there were talk of his injury worries before. Over the since 2022, he's suffered 7 injuries. 4 of them have gone down as he was rested for the game. 1 was a fever, and he's only actually had 2 muscle injuries in that time, both of which he only missed 3 matches for one of them and 2 matches for the other one. We're not talking about a Chiesa level issue where he's suffered a major injury and he's having to recover from that. He's someone who, if we did get an Isak or someone who's put in the middle, who's just their sole purpose is to receive the ball and have a go at goal, you're talking about one of the most creatively gifted players from a progressive play in terms of picking it up, running into the box, finding space to work with and passing it off to someone. And I think he'd absolutely flourish in this Arne Slot team in the way of which we play. And I just think we're talking about signing established players like your Wirtz, like your Kerkers, like your Isaks, these people who have proven it, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. This is a multiple Champions League winning player. This is someone who's played for Real Madrid. This is someone who is playing in one of the greatest teams in the history of football, and he's not performing at a poor standard. He can't get in the team because if you say to Mbappe or Vinicius Jr., right, on the bench, it's not going to happen. He's behind some of the best forwards in world football, and I just think if he was to come to us, we're not going to miss a beat. If anything, we will see Luis Diaz from a few years ago, if not better.
And you know what, Lewis, just to add on that, just one more thing, because I've seen a fella named Vanson there. I've got 2 questions I just want to answer. So he said, why does Xavi Alonso not rate Rodrigo? And he said if Rodrigo's skill and work ethic at this point is about his wages. So just to start with the not rate Rodrigo, I don't think it's that at all. I think what you have there is you have a player that's demanding to be first team now instead of a bit part player, and Alonso cannot guarantee that. And if you look at the Madrid front line, it's very clear as to why there's far too many egos there. He cannot be the main man when you have, I'm going to forget the names here for everybody, but specifically when you've got Bellingham, Mbappe, Vinicius front 3 that you're trying to work with. He's going to struggle to maintain a starting position in that. And I think he knows that, which is why Madrid have said, listen, we can't guarantee you that. The door's open. If the right bid comes in, you can go. Madrid also need funds. This is one of the reasons they keep trying to get players on fee, for free. They don't have the funds for sales. They're in a ridiculous amount of debt, Madrid. So one thing they need to do is just, as I say, find funds. And the second point regarding his wages being comparative to Mo's, one thing Liverpool are very good at with contracts, I'm sure Grizz can back me up here, is incentive-based contracts. So you will get bonuses to get to the point that, so let's say you demand 250k a week, not a problem. You get 150k as your base. This is a rough, but like 150k as your base, achieve this amount of goals, this amount of assists, help us achieve this trophy, and you'll go 250k, you'll go beyond that very comfortably. And that is how we get a lot of the players we get. For example, Wirtz is only on 200k a week, 210k a week. I have absolutely no doubt that in his contract, if he achieves certain bonuses, he will hit that 300, 350k through bonuses. You know what I'm saying? On average. So I think that's more likely to be the situation. But I just wanted to throw that in there.
You've thrown that in there, Ben. The wheel comes round to you again in terms of Rodrigo being the Diaz replacement. I think we're all kind of in agreement. I'm the only one who probably wants to keep Diaz at this stage left. But I think the majority are suggesting that Diaz goes. Are you Rodrigo as well? Is there another name that you want to throw out in the mix there. I mean, I'm gonna throw my name out there very quickly and move it on. I think, and I know it splits the fan base right down the middle. I don't give a shit. My opinion is Gordon will torch the Premier League. Torch the Premier League if he came to Liverpool.
Torch. Breakdown torch. Grizz, breakdown torch.
I'm telling you, he will light up. So torch, light up. You get it? So he would light. He would.
I know what it means, Grizz. Come on. What does it mean, though? Like, what are you saying? What are you saying?
No, I'm saying he would light up this league. But the chances of us getting Gordon and Isak is zero. So then the question is, obviously, which one would you prefer out of the two? And we know 90% of the fan base would prefer Isak, but Gordon, people just, this usual stereotypical, oh, he's English, he's British, or we would go for the South American flair of Rodrigo. I'm telling you now, Gordon would be far, far more effective. In my lonely, sad, old, bitter opinion. But Ben, Rodrigo's the name on your lips as well? Pause.
Big pause. I'm not Diaz out either, to be honest. I'm just sort of whatever happens. I'm not like Lewis gonna lose sleep if Lucho leaves in the morning. I'm not gonna be celebrating either, like some people probably would on Twitter, but it is what it is. But yeah, probably Rodrigo as well, just on the fact that I want Isak, and I'm not stupid. I don't think we can do a double swoop for Isak and Gordon from Newcastle. Yeah. I do agree with your sentiment on Gordon, and I'd got a stick from it, for a long time, saying that I'd like him and stuff. I think people hold on to the Everton stuff as well. But at the end of the day, this is his club. This is the club he was at in his academy. I think his family are a lot of them are Blues, but some of them, like his closest ones, are Red. So this is his club. Like, he was at Everton for a bit, fine, whatever, but this is his club. But like I say, if we're going to get Isak, there's absolutely no chance. So if Diaz goes, I would probably say to Rodrigo. There's probably, listen, with these guys, there's names that we wouldn't have even thought of, right? There's players that would just be monitoring. There's probably been players that we looked at for the last 3 seasons that they've been sending scouts to watching all of this. Malik Fofana's a name that I like. He's exciting, but I just feel like he might be too raw for this occasion. If Lucho leaves, like I said, we want someone to come in and sort of light it up like Lucho did. I know it's hard to remember because that was such a long time ago, but I was at his debut. I don't know if it's his debut. I think it was his first game at Anfield, Leicester City, at 8 p.m. That was one of his first games anyway.
That's the
one. He done everything but score. It was
Joseph got the brace.
I hadn't. You know what? I know Mane was incredible, best left winger I've seen, but I don't think I'd seen a winger play how he played in that game at Liverpool. Like, he was like genuinely different gravy to what we'd seen, like in terms of flair and trickery and stuff like that. But that's what we're saying. If we want a winger to come in and make an impact, it's got to be somebody that's at least on par with Luis Diaz. I don't know who those players are. Maybe it's Rodrigo, maybe it's somebody else, but I trust the guys making the decisions. I'm not one of these people that demand certain players. Hughes and Edwards, they've proven this window so far that they've got a lot of things right, and there was a lot of doubt at the start of the window as well. I think people having flashbacks to last summer when we didn't really do much. I knew that wouldn't be the case this time around because there was a lot that I don't think Slot was too happy with, even though we won the league. It sounds crazy to say. So I have the utmost trust and respect for Hughes and Edwards and the job that they're doing, and I think we'll all be very happy come the end of the window with whatever they do.
Well, if this happens, we'll be very happy, right? Gags, my very own partner in crime. Check out Chat G&G. We'll be back on Friday. We took a week off as well last week. We'll be back. Miss you, son. He says, getting this at Rodrigo and Gahey, and the league will be shivering with fear. Simple as that, guys. If that happens, then I think. Well, I don't. As I said to you guys privately, I'm not one of these game over type predictors like, oh, we'll run away with this, and football doesn't work like that. Simple as that. But hey, it will be exciting, and that's part of one of the emotions all about football, being excited, right? But I was excited before this show, and I'm still excited, but we must call it a day. I really enjoyed today's show again, guys. That's episode 4, I think, in the can. Lewis, Mo, Mike, Ben, it's been a pleasure as always. I haven't even noticed the time. 1 hour, 10 minutes nearly. We've got probably our best numbers so far as well. 400 watching on YouTube, 5,500 watching on Twitter, and as I said, I don't know on Facebook. It's growing. We're obviously, well, these guys are obviously popular with you guys, so I'll ask them on again next week, and we'll rack their brains and argue with their opinions and fight them if we need to. But that's what part and parcel of football debate is about: agreeing, disagreeing, but having the most mutual respect. And we have that. People, Liverpool are looking to do another madness, and we will have every part of breaking news live and exclusive on Anfield Index. Make sure you've subscribed if you haven't already, like the stream if you haven't already, and go and check out these guys on their socials as well. I believe Jack, who is produces in the background, will have all of their handles in the description as a thank you for contributing. So big up Mike, big up Ben, big up Lou, big up Mo. Make sure you go and check them out, whether you agree with their opinions or whether you disagree with their opinions. Go check them out. Apart from that, guys, I think it's time to say good night. And we await another exciting day in the transfer window that was 24-25. This is sensational stuff from Liverpool. Long may it continue. Red Room over and out. Peace.